Oschersleben, a circuit which was once stabled as a place where John Cleland would take someone to a dark room and get beat about the head for the way it was designed. It's not that sort of circuit, though. It's one of the great German national circuits out there, and it's a circuit that can provide great entertainment as this very enclosed space and very close quarters combat style racing that we've got. When it comes to IMSA Vintage, it's a case of we are racing once around the clock for 60 minutes worth of racing action today. At round 11, the talk of the town is of two very talented drivers out there, Jacob Reed and Aldrius Valentarius. My name is Jake Sperry here, bringing you all of the coverage of the IMSA Vintage series here with the Global SimRacing Channel as part of a Genesis Extreme production. Craig King is going to be alongside me in the commentary booth for this one. Daniel Costello is in the director's chair, and he's using the cameras provided by Dougie Beard. But to a track which most people will know for one thing and one thing only, but as this fantastic area of track where you just have to basically maneuver the best way that you can. How do you navigate around the motorsport arena Oschersleben? The best way to find out is with us and our GSRC track guide.
To Motorsport Arena Oschersleben. About 2 hours west of Berlin, it hailed in a more modern era of racetracks for the country when it opened in 1997. But perhaps one of the most surprising statistics about this place is it's only the fourth permanent racing facility to open in Germany. With 4 layouts to choose from, ranging between 1 and 3.5 kilometers, it's very well suited to touring cars, GT cars, and lower-level open-wheelers. Hotel and Turn 7 are two notable corners due to the fact that they each offer more than 180 degrees of rotation. However, Hotel is the more famous for its tighter, slower version, causing all kinds of headaches on race starts when drivers inevitably slow to a crawl trying to navigate it. The chicane doesn't do much to slow cars down, but it does create a very tricky entry into the long right-hander of 10. Also, Triple does exactly what it says on the tin. It's a 3-apex turn on your way into 7, so precision will be key. The front stretch and back stretch are nice long straights to get the car going, but both great dilemmas with difficult corners for overtaking at the end of them. It's a lot of tightly packed, technical and twisty circuit shoved into a small footprint. But much like the layout, this venue offers a lot for a little with its great racing.
This is a circuit which folds in upon itself over and over and over again. You look around at this circuit, the hotel corner of turn 2, the Hasenroder of turn 3, and then, of course, that very quick end to the lap from Shell to Bauer, and that final corner, the Zeppelin curve as it's sometimes known. Welcome to Saxony-Anhalt. Welcome to a track which is about 6 months older than me at this moment in time. Craig, this is a track which pretty much has a knife fight in a phone booth style feel.
Yeah, but it has a really fun feel, and it will be fun for these GTOs today because look at it, high and mid-speed corners, lots of chicanes, just a lot of sweeping corners, so it's really good to get that balance right. So for the GTOs, being this is a DTM track mainly, they're going to feel right at home here. But then let's put that screaming turbo of a Nissan GTP around here, and they're not going to have fun. This is probably one of those tracks where the GTOs are going to feel the better out the two classes this season, but those GTPs will have so much fun taking those sweeping corners like hotels you were saying so flat. It's going to be interesting when it comes to multi-class standards here because those chicanes come at you pretty quickly.
Yeah, and that triple as well, 4, 5, 6 into 7. How many drivers are going to find themselves the wrong side of Lady Luck there? That is going to be worth noting as they all look to settle about. But this has been a championship push. We are in drop round central at the moment for your GTPs. It is Jacob Reed who's on top by 41 over Jack Wells, but we do need to note, no Jacob Reed here today. Seamus Power finds himself in third with Ferran Grau in fourth. They're split by just 2 points, and 2 points further back of that, Cal Young in fifth place. It's then Arto Ihamaki in sixth, the Finn, along with another Finn in Ilka Kotasalo, who's there in seventh, and he's followed by Raul Races Guardia, Brendan Lim, and then Togo Hisada, who rounds out the top 10 in GTP. Craig, GTO has been an Aldrius paradise.
is an Aldrius world, we are all living in it. And it's safe to say that he is on fire, but there is no perfect season. We will talk about that later because he's not in a GTO today. That will give a good chance for Van Hicks to try and close that gap. Now the drop weeks are factored in. He would have been close if there was no drop weeks. He is a little bit far away, but a win could really do him well here. And something I always like talking about, look at the rest of that top 10. Anybody's game here from down to 7th position to try and get that final spot on the podium for Noel Lundberg. And then to get into the rest of the top 10, I count 5 cars that still have a chance to overtake Fabian Youngblood to get into that top 10.
Yeah, so you're looking around the likes of Mickey Friesen and Javier Del Olmo, still got a chance then of jumping forward in the order and gaining a little bit more. You're looking around at GTO. You could argue that JD Rodriguez, Martin Krejcik, Josh Brain, Torben Paulik could also make some progress there. So there's a lot that you can see as it goes about. But let's talk about today and our format. This is round 11 of 12, so we're right at the pointy end of the season. The best stuff happens now. We've got 60 minutes worth of racing coming up with a fully open setup, but there isn't a spare car to use in sight. So for this hour, you got to hold it together, and this is a very enclosed circuit, so you've got to make sure you're keeping out of trouble with the other cars around you. As with every iRacing official server race out there, it is a drive-through penalty at 17 incident points, and it's disqualification at 25. They've known the rules for a number of years, and this is one where they are going to be sitting and saying, what more can they do? Qualifying is currently underway, the 8 minutes and 2 laps that we normally expect. Jack Wells currently the fastest of them overall at the moment in GTP. Benjamin Roberts the fastest in GTO at the moment on a 23.1, but we still got a number of laps still to come in on what is a bumper crop field here today. We've got a full 50 ready to race at Oschersleben.
A full 50 out here today. Very crazy numbers on a track, but today is a free track, ladies and gentlemen. Anyone is free to try this nowadays, and it is delivering so much good. Like, you see a blue and a yellow car taking a few laps around there, and it looks like it's the number 1 car, and it is Valenteus. He is currently now setting his first lap time, and just look at this pacer down here. Here's a key point here, Jake. That is a slowdown if you try to cut that chicane a bit too much, literally called the chicane.
It is the chicane, and turn 10 is colloquially now known as McDonald's corner there on the exit. So if you want to go for a Macca's run, you might as well try on the outside. But Valenteus, we've known this season to be dominating in the other car, the GTO. He's now here in the GTP, and it seems every time I turn up here, Craig, he seems to change category, but he's decided, well, championship's done in the GTO. I want to prove how quick I am in the faster machinery again.
You know, and it's interesting because I was saying beforehand, I've been saying all season, who can stop him? The only man that has actually had a chance to stop him has been Jacob Reed. No Jacob Reed today. If you recall some of the battles they had last season in the GTP, it is a barn burner of a battle. One of the best veteran car runners on the sim versus one of the best open wheelers. We don't get that today. In fact, we're just going to see what it is. Key thing here, Jake, he usually likes to go last to first in the GTOs. I don't think he feels that confident because he's actually qualifying today.
No, he's definitely going for it here in the GTPs, through the triple and into turn 7, getting down slow to 98 kilometers an hour, back up onto the power, don't go too far off of the exit, and now you got this flick, 200 kilometers an hour on entry, down to 150 at McDonald's turn 10, still attacking the curb on the outside is the Lithuanian, and now looking for more here. You've got these next 2 concurrent right-left chicanes that go through, and on the exit there, again, just dropping the tyres in the gravel slightly. You can't afford to do that too often. Over the pit exit and into that final corner. Valenteus comes over towards the line. We'll see what it is as an effort, and the answer is that one won't count. He's got one more.
Yeah, I think he actually went a bit too hard on the exit of Shell chicane there, the Shell S as they like to call it, so he's got to do it all over again. We haven't talked a lot about the GTOs. This is Juan Jimenez who's just coming around to finish his time, but Noel Lundberg leading that fray, and once again, as it was last week, nobody knew who was going to win because there was no Valenteus. So again, they have this whole battle on themselves. Everyone's going to be thinking they have a chance to win today. Even Martin Enrique Revert, he may be 19th at the moment. Anyone could do anything in 60 minutes.
Well, anyone can, and they will certainly look to try and make that happen. So that is what they start thinking about here in those times. Jack Wells still on top by 0.2 of a second over Raul Rosses and Cal Young, who is currently third. Valentarius now really trying to tip the car through these corners and hoping that there is going to be more out there as they now search. This is where you start thinking about that final corner, turn number 14, out on track. Where can you get the drive off the exit? How good is that final lap? 10.5, short by a tenth, but front row for Aldrias. That will do nicely, but it's still not exactly everything he wanted with 25 seconds left.
Yeah, but you can make that 10th up in an hour. You can make that 10th up from the start. Jack Wells gets a pole position today, which is something I don't think he's had all season. He's going to hit me over the head if I've got that wrong, but it's a very good place to be. Actually, he has had some pole positions. He really has had to just try and convert it. Mark Enrique Revert, the last car out there, just setting some times. Qualifying is going to be over, though. We're going to get to this grid. This is a very spicy race today.
Yeah, it's a massive grid. I'll go through all of your GTP action. We'll get Craig on with GTO. Jack Wells, number 7, has got himself the pole position. A 110.417 with Aldrias Valentarius alongside for company. It's then Raul Rosses Guardia and Cal Young on row 2 with Nicolas Mucanos and Dustin Heroda on the 3rd row. Following that, it's Brendan Lim and Ilka Cotisalo in 8th. 9th is Seamus Power, and Hamilton Barrera Ruiz will round out the top 10 of the field. Following that is Laust Olsen and Jonathan Cathola on row 6 with Davide Riccardi and Daniel Gomez on row 7. Matthew Cockerham is 15th with Gabri Martinez in 16th, along with René Lechner and Andres Felipe Diaz in 18th. Alec Carl is 19th with Juan Carlos Pacheco there, making up the top 20 in this field. 5 cars did not set a time from the group, and those are Ferran Grau, Hennig Schwebig, Matteo Johnson, and Ethan Poole. 4 cars, who didn't set a time in the split on iRacing. Over to Craig with GTO.
Yeah, with the GTOs, it is Noah Lundberg, as we were talking about, taking the pole away from Benjamin Roberts. And then JD Rodriguez, who got victory last week, will be 3rd with Jack David Spickett in 4th. And Mickey Friesen was 5th, with Javier Olmo beside him in 6th. And Johan Van Hicks will take 7th over a Trengerade, looking to get some places up from 8th, with Doug Cloud in 9th and Andreas Schuster rounding out the first page in 10th. And as we get to the second page, it will be Josh Brain in 11th, with Timothy Reed in 12th. With then Emilio Dicciari in 13th. Martin Krajcik will take that 14th. Martioli comes back in 15th with Fabian Jungbluf in 16th. And Adam Barney will take 17th. Brandon White returns in 18th. Martin Enrique Revert, we saw there, was 19th. Max Wheeler will be 20th. And we do have one more page as well. Foreman Pollock will take 21st. Juan Jimenez will take 22nd. Brooke Peterson, last of the time, qualifies in 23rd. And then it's Christoph Lesniak, Atalan Hark, and Dmitry Milharov. The 3 cars who did not set a time. 26 GTOs, 24 GTPs.
And 1 mega race coming up. They will line up behind the iRacing Porsche safety car out there and now look to get themselves ready for their 1 pace lap available, because the lights are off already on top of that iRacing safety car to give them the rolling start that they need to get that launch. It would have been very interesting if they had made that drive over, of course, without the rolling start, but rather with a standing start. But this is going to be one of the more unique circuits out there. The disparity in times from fastest time from one category to the other was only 13 seconds over the lap. So they're going to be tripping over each other after every 6-7 laps. We expect that trip over point to come into play. It's not going to be long, maybe 20 minutes into this race here, Craig, I probably feel, before we're starting to see a car's going to get lapped each and every single lap, and then the full avoidance spectrum comes into play.
I say give it 20 minutes and we're going to see a track where there is no free space. Now, we know there's going to be a mandatory pit stop here. The GTOs, some of these drivers may not be taking a pit stop today. They may be trying to do the 0 stopper here. That's going to be something to keep your eyes out for. But for these GTPs, that pit stop's going to be crucial. And with 50 cars on a track this small, with a lap time of 70 to 75 seconds in the GTPs, getting the right time may mean you don't come in for that last second splash and dash. You may need to look for an undercut just to find space on the track here today.
cars are older than the track itself, and when the Camel GT series was in its full flow, this was a late 80s, early 90s look of what was out there as part of the IMSA Championship, and some dominant cars out there. When Nissan ruled the roost in the mid-80s, it was something of a sight to behold. But when it comes to these drivers and what is a new circuit by comparison of that is your 007 look back at what is there behind, and I think it tells you all you need to know about what's there here, Craig. These drivers understand that they have to be dancing a tightrope for an hour, and they're not driving the car, they're just clinging to the steering wheel.
It is going to be hope and pray and drive out there today. Going to be interesting. 1995, if anyone was doing the maths there when this started coming out, it started this track. Also, actually the third permanent racetrack in Germany after the Nürburgring and Hockenheim. So very interesting to see what these cars could have done. Again, we talked about the GTOs. They should feel really nice out here today. We know Formula cars come around here, Jake. As the pace car comes in, it's going to be crucial to see what downforce effect cars are going to do out around here.
Well, the pace is in control of Jack Wells in the number 7 machine, with Raul Rosses, Cal Young, Nicholas Mucanos looking there behind. It's about the launch. The green flag drops and they're underway, and there's a massive bottleneck. They go 3-4 wide behind as they have the fast run here today through to the hotel corner of turn 2. Dive on the brakes and find your line. Trouble in the middle of the group. 4 or 5 are going to go scampering across the circuit. GTOs are going to come over towards a melee here, Craig.
Yeah, they're going to come to a melee. The melee is still slowing down. JD Rodriguez with a really good start. See a couple cars already slow there. Then it's Henning Schwebig, who is getting a little bit on the inside, trying to get around these cars. More drivers making positions up. Van Hick made up position straight away. Doug Cloud made a position. Martioli makes up 2. At the front of the field, though, you see a really good start from Lundberg, and JD Rodriguez catching Benjamin Roberts off guard.
Yeah, no other dramas about that. There's a little bit of damage there for one of the Audi GTOs there in the middle of the pack, so that's going to be troublesome early. And look at the damage to car number 29. That's Henning Schwebig, who finds himself looking pretty much as damaged as you like. There's the turnaround from behind. It's Juan Jimenez, who's turned about and now has to try and gravel himself out of the gravel. And there's more dramas out there, because I think that was someone else who got caught out. I didn't quite catch it before he went through, but someone in blue and black found himself blue and black, and there's another car off the road.
Yeah, it's a little bit chaotic out there. Henning Schwebig unfortunately lost control of the car. He went around straight away. Jonathan going side by side with Lars Olsen to start this, but the inside of Hotel. Remember, we're not using that very sharp first corner. It's the moto layout here today, which gives a little bit more speed. Lars Olsen able to defend at that position. He's gonna try to catch onto the back of Costasalo right ahead, though. But this is crucial time for some of these drivers. Get the best run you can, and here's that start.
Yeah, so this is Andres Felipe Diaz, then exit of the final penultimate corner. Oh, he catches a tank slapper and a bit of contact there, and that hefty hit, I think he did drag it into the pits, but he had to wait to try and get himself there. But at the moment, it's a case of how do you chase right now. Laust Olsen, see, is pretty much a mouse at this point, and he's got a block of cheese in front of him of Ilka Cotasalo, very reminiscent of Wheelie Big Cheese, Wheelie Big problems for the 6.
How on earth did none of those drivers get caught from Andreas Schuster there? Schuster just going a bit too wide. Actually, no, he lost control because Doug Cloud lost it. That's what started it. Doug started losing control at the first corner. He tried to hold it, and the only way he could go to hold it was right in front of Andreas Schuster. So unfortunate there for both drivers. This battle's still going on, though, as Cal Young sets the fastest lap. We're only 2 laps in.
Yep, and Hamilton Barrera now gets it as they start working forward and through the groups. The pace is there, and so Andreas Schuster's bonnet now looks like it's trying to eat in the air at this point. So this is Doug Cloud's perspective then, car 25, and getting a huge kicker slide. Now you can drift this car out there, but he's got to try and catch it, and that's what the trouble was. The big slam into the side. He goes all the way to the guardrails on the outside, does Doug Cloud. But the issue you've got is this is a car that's got a natural amount of play in it, does the Audi 90 GTO, so you can always feel like you've got a chance of saving it.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers love to drift the car after qualifying or after a race. They love doing it, and including this man right now, Valentino. He's in a GTO, but I think as well what caught Cloud off there. A little bit of cameras we caught on the camera there that just caught him off, and that just sent him going. He goes into the wall. Schuster, unfortunately, a lot of damage. Valenteus still trying to catch up to Jack Wells. You see the gravel getting kicked up and thrown onto the track. Could be a factor later in the race if that keeps on happening when the multi-class comes in. I reckon this lap or next lap, they'll start to see some GTO traffic.
Yeah, and they might start to see these moves because here comes Valenteus thinking about the inside, has to lift out of it. 13.292, fastest lap for the Lithuanian. Jack Wells, car number 7. Look out behind Club UK and Iman because he is going to want to try and get through and each and every single opportunity. But the issue you've got around this circuit is where do you make these passes? Because each straight that you've got is I would say, 50 meters too short everywhere. It's one of these very high downforce circuits where the best way you're going to get most of the time is if you can keep the car hunkered to the inside everywhere. You need about 2 seconds extra advantage to get around anywhere around this track. A good run through the chicane, and this might be the pick that Aldrius is looking for because Wells was trying to really open up to this exit. Valenteus now will get a really nice run over towards the Shell S as the best chance to make that pass, but again, has to lift out of it, can't find a move, and you've still got Raul Ross says Cal Young, Justin Heroda, and Nicholas Buchanan, 6 there at the front, and look at how much trouble there is for Hamilton Barrera's group at the moment because that was Brendan Lim, nowhere to go in the mock-up Jag.
Yeah, nowhere to go, and that was just on one corner with one car of 26 cars out there today. So just imagine what it's going to be like elsewhere for some of these drivers. It's going to be really tough. Juan Jimenez is still trying to hold on to this, and he does just hold. But look what he's got to deal with right now. He knows once he finishes this corner at Hotel, then he's got some more work. He takes the inside, the cars have to go around him. It is so tough there. This is what a precursor to what they're going to have to deal with later in the race. As Matthew Cocker, Lance Olsen was trying to get by.
Yeah, he was trying to deal with that. Meanwhile, there is Benjamin Roberts in the Oz NZ driver in the Audi trying to get past JD Rodriguez, and then Noel Lundberg, your race leader, out right here. He was quicker than both of them by 3/10 on the last lap. JDS, Jack David Spickett's there in 4th, and Mickey Friesen currently makes himself in 5th. Joran van Hicks down in 6th position is leaving himself a little bit to be desired up there. He's got to try and run the gauntlet.
Got to run the gauntlet, but again, early days, and this is something, if you're not used to the IMSA Vintage, something the GTOs love to do. They love to pack race for a while, and if they are looking at an O-stopper, you want to look at that pack racing because you want to use that slipstream, use each other to your advantage and try and save that fuel. Doug Cloud, it is not going well for him at the moment. Forbin Pollock gets by. A lot of damage to the rear of that car just from that one moment, Jake. It just goes to show you've got to be careful. He gets a real good run, but I don't think he's going to have the speed with Pollock in the inside to take that corner.
Well, if they're going to continue battling like this, they are going to be encroached on by the leaders who are just entering the 3rd corner out on circuit there, the Hasserode. And now as they move on through, big chuck up there at the triple, trying to get it sorted. Not through 1, not through 2, not through 3. Patience is there again. You can lean on the back as much as you like. It's not going to do the job. And now they're going to head to the chicane, and they have every right to battle this one out for the race lead, but they fall into line as they go through the chicane out on McDonald's corner. And here comes the Macca's run along the back stretch once again. Valenteus might try and use this as a pick to make this move. He looks over all the way to the right, but again lifts out of it. 1, 2, 3 finds a way to chase through. The 4th car in line is Cal Young. He just about manages to hold on.
Just about manages, and thankfully they do keep the momentum so that it's not a low-speed corner. They can keep ahead and keep the speed up so they're able to get past these GTOs with little issues. But you see up ahead, this is Gardia. Look what he has to deal with as he goes up the road. He's trying to find spaces. Where does he go? Where can he find spaces? Right, there's another car. Can I get around him? Yes. Thankfully, Hotel's quite wide. Now he's got to look again. So much work he has to do right now. Your brain has to be switched on right now to know what the position you have to do. And this is why Gardia has really earned his name this season in the IMSA Vintage.
Well, every corner you search around this circuit, and we're only 8 minutes in of our 60 that we've got, every corner is one you've got to be focused on, and you've got to take risk, and you've got to be prepared for the consequences of if it goes wrong, and you're starting to notice that with cars, and there's a little bit of a hit check there from Raul Rosses, who needed to make that work, and he looked around at Martin Krajcik and said, I had to try and go through, I didn't have a choice with my matter of fact. So still there's a lot more to deal with. They've still got big battles in front, and it gets easier when you get to the faster category cars there, but it's still now, it's going to be 2, 3 and 4. Aldrius is getting really bottled up here on this lap. He's lost a second and a half out there, just trying to navigate through, only just squeaking through. I believe that was Dechari that they had to get through. It was Emilio Dechari. So look at how this opens and closes. This is exactly what you'd want as a leader of this race. You can easily build 2 seconds just by being brave like Jack Wells was.
Yeah, you had to be brave. But also, look what Valenteus did when he came to Shell. He had to make a late move. He had to try and get a move in the middle of Shell to get past the traffic. Worked very well for him. Mickey Friesen going down the order. So it happened to him. He was in P5 to start this lap. Ooh. He's now in 7th. He's had a bit of a moment earlier in this lap. He's now battling side by side with Javier Del Olmo. Comes to the triple. There's no way they can take it too wide into the triple. He has to pull back out of it. And now Jack Wells is right behind him. He's going to get bottled up. Valenteus right back in it.
By 2 seconds, it goes just like that. It was Friesen's contact with Van Hicks which brought him back through the hotel corner. There was no spin to the outside or anything like that. Wells is just way more aggressive there. Went all the way to the outside. Valenteus a lot more modest with the way he tried to get through the traffic. And look at what it does in terms of advantages. Valenteus can attack more through the Shell S chicane and hold himself to stable. But that's what you're starting to see here. Drivers who can risk and drivers who can't. You're seeing Jack Wells take every risk under the sun, knowing the name that's behind him.
Knowing the name he has to take. That is a man who's been 9K so many times I can no longer count it. Mickey Friesen got past Javier Del Olmo, but this is the battle we have to keep our eyes on. It's the all-important battle. And as there's just 3 cars left to go through, it's the top 3 in GTO all in front of them on the 007 cam. You can see it's just these 3. Cal Young is trying to grasp onto the back, but they know how important this is, and it could be very important. JD Rodriguez up ahead, and at a moment, and around goes Roberts.
From 3rd position, there was a tap from the race leader, Jack Wells, and immediately it sparks pandemonium here. Roberts would have felt very unduly done, being dumped out of the race lead. Question is there any damage from that on your race leader? He's got a little bit of scraping on the front left of his car that might just cause him a bit of trouble in comparison to Valenteus. They'll run their way past Noel Lundberg here, your category leader, but this could be the move for the race lead if it should want it. 1st and 2nd are cleared, 3rd, 4th and 5th now give chase.
Yeah, they're going to give chase. I think Wells is going to be all right at the moment. There's only really a couple straights that you can really attack here. Let's look at this replay again. This is Roberts. He was keeping up board here. I don't know if it was the case of JD just losing a bit of speed or what, but he was starting to come into the triple here, looking to just hold his way. Jack Wells realized that he had to go. There is JD. He had a little bit of wide. I think he gets a little bit slow there, not realizing it, and there's nowhere for Jack Wells to go. And unfortunately, it sent him all around. Roberts now down in 11th.
Well, it's about predictability there, and with the slower, to say, JD Rodriguez, that was about as aggressive as you had to be, and not much more. There is Nick Mucanos, who's now down in 8th position. Can I just say, what a start Ferran Grau has had to this race. How is he up in 7th?
I have no idea. I would love to know myself. It's just very interesting. He is a really good driver, and it just goes to show he has really shown improved effort this season just to get that far. 14 places, and we're only how many minutes into the race? 13 minutes into the race? A position a minute. Fantastic driving.
Well, call him a minute man and conscript him up. He is flying. Where's his musket? He is going at the moment in time, and Ferran Grau knows. Next up is Seamus Power in 6th position, and someone who he's very familiar with in terms of battling over season and season. Here is a legend, Hervé Trengaray, now trying to bring himself through. Down the inside, turns to the outside against Del Olmo, out in the gravel, go full rally spec trying to save it. Quattro can't find himself the move.
No, it's a rally car by name, but it's not this isn't a rally car by nature. And you can see he's battling for sixth. He has actually gained a position because at the start of the lap, Mickey Friesen had a moment at Hotel, went around, lost a lot of time. You see in the timing tower, he is down the order, but Trengerade trying to get back. Very brave to make that move from Shell. Got through some of it, fine side by side. Couldn't get the rest of it. The track is really throwing a lot of understeer. And talk about a man trying to make a recovery. Benjamin Roberts already back up to 10th.
Yeah, and now looking at Emilio Dicciari, and that would be for 9th. And Martiola is there in front as well in the number 31 car then from Club Iberia. So Oye is going to be in the mix. GSLC replay. This is what happened to Mickey Friesen. So through into Hotel, is swarmed about by 3 going through. Oh, and he just carries more speed into the corner. Tags the back of a very, very damaged GTP in front. And that's all you need to go around. And Mickey Friesen, at that point, you know, you can carry more entry speed, but he wouldn't have been expecting to encroach like that.
He would not be expected to encroach like this. I don't think Nicholas Mecanos expected to be encroaching on Seamus Power. You'll just see there Seamus had a bit of wing damage, and that allowed Nicholas to try and make that move, but so late he got there side by side. This man is just trying to keep on fighting Guardia as well. There's been a car go off. It's Brooks Peterson in the background for the GTO, but Guardia still holding on to this. Look at the gap now. It's almost a second and a half between Wells and Valenteas. Now these 3 are just battling, or these 4 even, if you throw in Dustin Hiroda. There he is. Very close battle.
Yeah, and very lucky in that was Dmitry Mikhailov, who almost got completely taken away. You'll see it top right of your screen here. So this is what happens to Brooks Peterson. So that was Valenteas and co, who were all there, all trying to keep themselves out of trouble. On the brakes, lose it, why don't you? And that's how quickly it can all go wrong. So there for Brooks Peterson, great, and he just about avoided troubles as he went through. Wells has now built that margin again. Valenteas in 2nd position. It's then Cal Young 3rd, and Raul Rosses is now back in 4th position, and they've brought back to the party Dustin Heroda, who is there in P5. Home soil, which means one thing here, 2 extra tenths of advantage. Mucanos cannot do much about that. Seamus, with all the power in the world, holding him back. They've allowed Ferran Grau to bolt.
Ferran Grau's already bolted. This is one thing I love about the Hotel corner. Instead of having that very tight corner that we famously know around here, it just gives you more space. It allows you to keep the speed up, and it opens up defending. And for the last 2 laps, that's what Seamus has done around here. Defended at the Hotel corner and managed to hold on to that so much with Mecanos. Sooner or later, something's going to give. You've got to feel the leaders of the GTP will be coming up to the GTOs for the 2nd time shortly. Maybe he's got a chance there.
Oh, there's definitely a chance, but the longer that you leave it, the less chance that you have. And they've also got Ethan Poole that they'll have to get by, who is same category lap traffic. So that's going to be even more difficult to try and work behind. But Mucanos here in P8 doing a good job right now, but needs to try and pick this run up. Hamilton Barrera and Daniel Gomez there just behind, and also trying to stay onto the back desperately is Jonathan Cazorla, who's there in the number 32. So there's certainly work. Ferran Grau, fastest lap, 12.7 put on the board, and suddenly it's getting busy up there for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. Grau's just joined the back of the group.
Yeah, Grau has joined the back. How is he so close after starting at the back of the field? He's been able to get right up to the back of that front pack of 4 cars. There he is. That's Dustin Hiroda right in front. I don't know how he's been able to do this. Working on his own, going hell-bent for leather out there today. Really picked out the spot, picked out the opportunity. This is a dark horse. We talk about the last of first Valenteas like to do, and Barney goes a little bit wide there through the chicane. Grau might be doing a Valenteas today.
He might be, and he's certainly proving he's got pace. The Momo car in McDonald's colours having to go over there over the course of the chicane. He went, "Can I take your order, please?" Yes, 4 GTPs going by me. Thank you very much. Go over to the next window. But Ferran Grau has got the phasers lit here today. And there's Benjamin Roberts, because he's now moved up another one. He's now up into 8th. And I think he's past Marty Oye, 4th position. And Oye can't really do much more than just say, I've got damage to the front and I'm trying to navigate and manage it out there. Pac-Man trying to find a way by Benjamin Roberts at the moment. Gabri Martinez is the driver trying to make that pass.
Yeah, gets it stuck as well, so that's one good thing to see. Benjamin Roberts now just trying to get that fight on now. He realizes up ahead is Timothy Reed, a second and a half. He sees him up the road. He's got an opportunity to get more places, and this is actually probably a good thing for him. Maybe he'll be able to make a no-stopper, but Doug Cloud, Mickey Friesen, the two guys that, when you look at these battles, you're thinking they should be top 10 drivers. They've not had the best of starts today. They're 15th and 16th respectively. They're trying to catch up to Lesniak. He started last at first. He's plus 10 today, but plus 10 in the GTOs, only good for 14th so far.
Yeah, so more to do for Oinek, and Grau's had a moment actually, so he's just tried to go around a bit of lap traffic of Brandon White, and he's just about avoided any troubles, but what does it cost him in terms of where he's ended? Well, Seamus Power has said, yoink, that's mine, you're going to have to pass me another time to go and get that move. So it is starting to get pretty dangerous out there for all of these drivers, and it's worth noting as well, this is a high downforce style circuit. This is the sort of circuit you'd expect a no-stopper at with the lower high speeds.
Yeah, and that's what we're expecting to see around here. We'll wait to see what the top drivers, pretty sure the top three will be doing a no-stopper today. We'll wait and see. Baron Grau trying to get this move done, but he knows if he holds up, McCandless is right there, and this is the problem they have today. You make a mistake when you get held up in traffic, you're going to have to look on the defense. Jack Wells, he's definitely looking at the defense. Valenteus is a second behind, but he has to be careful. The traffic is really working against him at the moment. Look at Valenteus in the background, Jake. Absolute commitment around the start of triple.
Yeah, he had to go around Dachari, he had to get around Fabian Youngbluth, and he had to get so quickly. And that's Hervé Trengarade off, and there's also going to be another one off, one of the GTPs, and I think it's Raul Rothes who's gone off the road.
I think it might be Raul Rogers. He's off the road. It definitely think he's just got caught. He got caught trying to take the chicane a bit too aggressively with, I believe that was Emilio Dachari.
Yeah, and that's the issue that you have. So Trengarade came together with Juan Jimenez, the lap traffic, and then onto the scene comes Raul Rothes. It's pretty much looking like, where do you go? And he tried to dive for the inside, and I think he just caught the curb here, so Trengarade's already off. Watch him here, he's going to get pinched to the inside curb, and because he's caught on the anti-cut, he's straight into the tyres.
He's got nowhere to go as well. That inside is so tight that that's why the tyre power is there to stop you going a bit too fast. Brendan Lim with an incident there as well. He's just gone into the back of, I believe that was Jonathan.
Also,
yeah, and look at it. Absolute carnage.
Yeah, it's well, welcome. It's kicked off. Silly hour has come early here in about 20 minutes. Would you believe it? It's almost as if we summoned it there on how difficult it would be after 20 minutes. Lim just went so aggressive into the corner. Tapped him once, tapped him twice, and it's not great when it happens like that.
It's not great, but it's also just a sign that people are getting a little bit desperate out there. They know what's going to happen. Here is the replay. Look at the traffic he's got through, and he's just got a bit too hot. He was probably going to say, I don't know if the car was turning in early, but you've got to be respectful. I wonder if it's just him missing his braking point there as well, because he went pretty straight line there.
Yeah, I think there's a lot that you can dissect there. It's a fast turn one into turn two, and he's done everything he can. Oh, there's a big car off there, Dmitry Mikhailov. Mihailov's gone off then, and he's had a tap with a little bit of traffic trying to dance through. I think it was Davide Riccardi who he's come together with on the front stretch. That's right in front of your leaders here. And Valenteus has caught back up again. Cal Young now finds himself in third, and he's caught back up again. Heroda tries to hold on. Grau's found his way back through and has joined it. 5-car train that leads this race, but they're being disrupted here by Martin Enrique Rivera, and either side, oh my word, I've just seen 4 wide either side going into the triple, and Grau makes the pass. That's the pass of the century.
Pass of the century, half on the grass. It was almost a Kevin Extra, and Ferry Grau just kept his foot in it. I'm through it, Harry. I don't know how he held on to that. Great commitment from all 4 drivers to stick with it, and he's got even more position because he's going to be battling Cal Young.
We will need a replay because that's surely iRacing top century worthy, let alone top 10. But Grau still trying to fight past Cal Young, and that would be for 3rd position out there after starting at the back in 21st place. Top 2 clear as they fight with the leading duo who are in their own battle in GTO, mind you, JD Rodriguez and Noel Lundberg. Let's take a look at this. This is what you call being the ultimate opportunist. I'd say that Ferran Grau has found his edge because watch this. He goes through the Oda at turn 3, sees that there is the block there on the right-hand side for Oda, and he says, you know what? 2 tires in the grass, Ryan Hunter-Reay, that is my idol. Eat your heart out for a move.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be Hunter-Reay for me, it'd be Tony Kanaan, but it's the same thing. It's a move with the commitment on the grass, trusting that the car is going to keep it together, and he's done a fantastic job there. A man who's also doing a fantastic job is Mickey Friesen, battling with Doug Cloud. They have a bit of damage each of them, but he cannot make that position. He doesn't have the straight line speed. Doug retakes that. Martin Kraytrick's ahead as well. It's going to be a tough battle today for Mickey Friesen, now that he knows he's going to be struggling with top speed.
Yeah, and also as well, this is a thing about Mickey Friesen. He'll be struggling on fuel mileage because of the damage.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see. Lars Olsen has had a tow as well. He's had a moment out there as we're watching the top 3. Well, it's the top 3, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th at the moment, because Jack Wells once again has gone through, and he's managed to use the lap traffic to his advantage. And Cal Young all of a sudden is going to be looking behind like, I didn't know A-Tour was in this race. They're getting on the rest now. Cal Young's going to try and make this around the outside of Hotel and Valenteus, and he can't make it stick.
Well, he had everything there. He was almost the entire way around, but Aldrius just said, well, I'm committing to my line, so are you going to commit to yours? And the answer for Cal was, no, I'm not. So I think that was really passive from Cal Young, and he could have had every chance of getting through on Aldrius Valenteus, and look at what it's costing them now. It's 2.2.
It's 2.2. They had to get past a lap GTO as well, and you've got to feel that maybe they're starting to get a little bit on the tenterhooks, because 2.5 seconds is the gap. Yes, they're still going to go through traffic another 2, 3, 4, 5 times, however many times it is, but you don't want to be losing all that time when the pack starts to spread out. This is the time to make up the time, and if they're going to keep battling, this is going to be a big problem for them.
Well, they want to make this battle, and they want to make it known on the roof here of Cal Young, trying to navigate by with Valenteus there in 2nd position, with Ferran Grau, the hot hand behind, in 4th. A lot there dragging through into the grass and gravel. You've got to be so alert here, because this circuit is going to have a lot of it across it, with the track being how it is. Jack Wells, 12-3. Here comes Cal. This time he'll go through. Aldrius let him had it.
Yeah, Valenteus, you know what? I think that's safe. I think he's going to be looking to try and hold as much fuel as he can, save as much fuel as he can. So if he loses that position, he's not going to be fighting it. He knows that the driver in front is Cal Young. He might be faster. He does get a little bit caught off by traffic, though. That's going to cost him some time. Very tough out there. Interesting fact I want to talk about, Jake. 24 GTP started this race. Half of the field, just over half of the field, is still on the lead lap.
Well, that's good news for them, and I also want to get a little bit of a point on what's going on in GTO right now. There's a battle on for 4th place, and it's Jorm van Hicks who's under pressure here. Javier Del Olmo's giving everything he got. Oh, Farron, look at that from Schuster right there. It's like watching a hungry hippo.
Well, I don't really want to be on that board. He is really taking what he can. Makanos as well, looking to try to see what he can on Seamus Power. And again, he has the straight line speed because of the damage to Seamus, but where does he make the moves? These straights, they're not like Fuji last week. They're like 1/3 of a Fuji straight, and they're really struggling to try and find a way here. He is literally hoping for a wing and a prayer, although Seamus doesn't really have a wing right now.
No, Seamus doesn't really have much of that, and this is where the move's going to come. Nick Mukanos might even try and box him in behind the traffic. This is clever. Where do you go? Seamus round the outside. No, he's the one who gets boxed himself. Mukanos. Oh, the duality of man is thrown into full display there, and he'll tap him round.
Yeah, it looks like the GCO driver just wasn't aware of what was happening. Tried to keep a racing line and then just couldn't get the speed down. Mikanos is saying, I've got to go. He couldn't make it, and that goes around as well. Andreas Schuster, we just saw there, but Lesniak still trying to battle. He's going to try and go for Emilio Dechari, who's in the black, yellow, well, the German flag colors here today. Just can't get it in that classic Audi DTM livery.
Yeah, Elena Jacques is still hoping for a way forward. This for a top 10 from the back of the field, and over everybody, it's a gain of 20. It's looked like an absolute graveyard of GTPs here today, and here comes Elena Jacques, then over to the inside. Emilio Dechari can't do much except try and really attack around the outside, make it work and get it to stick, and ultimately does. So wonderfully done. There has been contact for Martin Enrique Rivera, who has come together with Timothy Reed. He was trying to slow down to let him through, but ultimately Reed has run up the back of him because he wasn't predicting it.
Yeah, and that's been a story a lot of the corners out here today, and a lot of the incidents. It's just drivers not really realizing what's happening. Jack Wells, he knows what's happening. He's extended that gap now to 3 seconds, and he doesn't need to worry about making any risky overtakes here as he comes up to the traffic once again. Can he try and make some time here? This is going to be very crucial because he'll get past Friesen. Craytrix up ahead. He's going to be held up just at the exit of the chicane. He'll come to McDonald's. He'll ask for some fries as well. But this is very crucial because look who's coming up behind. Ferenc Grau, he is still fighting for that podium.
Yeah, but he's got to get past Valenteius, who is pretty much as legendary as it comes when it comes to us here at the Global Sim Racing Channel. He's winning everything he sets his mind to, but at the moment it seems like not today. Running through then at the penultimate corner of this circuit and into the Saxon-Anhalt curve to end the lap out. There is Grau giving what he can in order to make this move. Krejcik moves out of the way to make sure they find themselves there. We're almost just at halfway in this race. It shows you how hectic it's been out there, that it's only now that you can get this gap. Van Hicks still having to defend. Look at Van Hicks, the front completely pushed in.
Well, we know what Van Hicks can do with a smashed in front because we've seen him on the iRacing top 10 once before with a smashed in front. That's not going to stop him whatsoever, but he has to defend against a former champion. These are two former champions right now, Del Olmo and Van Hicks, having a little scrap. They're a second away from Jack David Spickett, and you've got to feel, hey, maybe if we were together, we might be able to be battling for third here instead of trying to duel it out for fourth.
Well, Del Olmo wants to make everything he can a place where he can jump up, he can gain more. He's lost the place over this race for it, and that is Cal Young, who is just crawling his way out of the gravel. What has gone on there? And he was second, and now he's well out of it and out of contention because he's going to be back out now with Seamus Power and Bucanos, Hamilton Barrera, Daniel Gomez. We've got a train in play.
He lost it coming around the chicane. And talking of chicanes, Ferenc Grau around the outside of the first part of the Shell S got past Valenteius to take P2, but Cal Young taking too much of the inside of the chicane just caught the bounce here. You're going to see it right now. It's not the first anti-cut curve. It's just taking too much of the second, and there the car just starts the curve there. You see a little bit of a dip there, Jake. I think that might have bottomed the car out a little bit.
Yeah, and that's what we call compression damping, and that's why it's so difficult when you get the car up in the air, when those rear tyres hit the air, and you've got to get the power down and the power down and the power down. The moment you get the air, you get an extra acceleration of grip. That's when the car wants to try and spin itself around, and not much love can be found when that happens. Danny Gomez there in ninth, staring at the back of this group right now with Barrera and Bucanos and Power and Young's in there too. This is about trying to move on through this dual battle of, I believe this is Alejniczak against, I believe, Fabian Youngblood for position. So this is going to be another place out there to try and go with. Doug Cloud now getting involved right now with the likes of Emilio Dechari, who's there just in front, and as well the lap down traffic of Brooks Peterson.
Yeah, that lap traffic may just cause him a little bit of a headache because now he's trying to get by, and now he's got Doug Cloud, and a mistake there trying to get the momentum, loses top speed on the exit there, and now Cloud's going to try and go around the outside. A little bit of a tap there on the wheel, but Dechari realizes it, pulls out, and Cloud with another position. He's up to 11, but again, look at that damage. It is damage attrition out there today. I talked about half the GTPs are a lap down, Jake. There are only 19 of the 26 cars on the GTOs are on the same lap.
Well, it goes to show you how quick Noel Lundberg's been today, that they are starting to put laps on those in GTOs, but it's also worth noting we're on just one split here today, so that will also mean for these drivers that when they're trying to put those best times in, they've got to deal with everything. Here's a look at Dustin Heroda at the moment, busy as always with his hands, trophies in the background showing his prowess out there over the course of his career. He's got enough time to adjust the setting on his dial to make sure he's in place, because this is for a podium, mate, and you've got Aldrius Valenteius in front.
Yeah, and he's just going to be looking to see if he needs to just put another bit of TC there. A bit of brake bias, sorry. There's no TC in these cars. It's all brake bias. Just trying to set it up, and that may have helped him just get down there. And Javier Del Olmo just leaps into that spot. Malateus now starting to pull away. But this is going to be so important if he gets around Van Hicks. Van Hicks may give him the space, and he does. He needed that. He needed that so badly because look at Aldridge held up from Jack David Spickett.
Oh, he forced his way through on the Rothman-sponsored car out there, and this is where Heroda brings himself into play still, but couldn't quite capitalise, and the time that they're losing to Ferran Grau. Look at Ferran Grau's gap. That was 3 seconds, remember. At the line, it was 7/10.
Yeah, and it's very interesting to see what that's going to do. Ferran Grau just needs to just keep this going. Now comes the fuel strategies. We're into that second half of the race. What are these drivers going to be doing with fuel? Is it going to be a case of pit early? Are some of these drivers going to be crazy enough to see how late they can go? The traffic hasn't spread out like we expected it to do. There is so much free space out there. If a driver wants to do a pit stop here, I think they've got the space to do it.
But it is a long lane that they've got to navigate because they've got to do the very difficult bit of taking the left and the right out of the pit when they go, and it's a very difficult entry into that. You've got to be aggressive. We do have cars in the pits currently. Brooks Peterson is one of them who has dived in, but at least for overall, Ferran Grau has been a man on a mission, and that mission is helped even further by Noel Lundberg holding his line as is his right, and suddenly the race lead for Jack Wells. You don't have to worry about Aldridge anymore, buddy. You've got a bigger threat now.
This is one of those races that Ferran Grau probably did not expect to have. I don't think Jack Wells expected. It makes you wonder, is there a strategy play here? Is Grau just going all the way and burning that fuel? Is Jack trying to be an eco-friendly driver today and just try to save it? It's very interesting, but the pace has been there all day for Ferran Grau. It's been there for Jack already. A little bit of a hold-up at McDonald. Don't think so. Ferran Grau's to get by. Loses some time, though. There's still a lot of time. He's got a lot of patience.
Well, if he's going to get on in a hurry, you might as well order a McFlurry when he's there at McDonald's corner, but Ferran Grau is still there and still in range, and this is where you're going to have to start being a little bit economical. When's the right time to make that call? Because you know the moment that you turn left, you're looking at where's my advantage going to be and how I make that stop. And with these sorts of races here, Craig, a little bit few and far between. Of course, the 40-minute sprints is what they know as their bread and butter. These 60-minute races requires a little bit more effort.
They get 2 60-minute races a season. Earlier in the season was a special 17-minute race, but they still get the 2 races that require pit stop, and it just brings another level of game into it. It's another level of the chessboard that they have to go through, realizing sometimes the undercut works, sometimes the overcut works, sometimes just go as long as you can and save fuel. We've seen that before, but I don't feel like that's going to be the play out here today. I still am holding on that maybe that undercut might do it out there today.
Well, speaking of undercut, Seamus Power has made the call to come into the pit and take something out there. So he's got 25 minutes, and where he comes out, I think is going to be rather important here because he's got to take a full 90-degree right to get back out onto circuit, and he's got to merge, and I think he's just going to merge out ahead of Christophe Lenijak, and that's going to be important because now he's got a little bit of clean air to go and attack with this next stage. There is Johnny Cazorla, who's hoping to attack Brendan Lim. This is going to be for what is now a top 10.
Yeah, Cazorla is trying to hold into Brendan Lim, not David Lim. Brendan Lim just trying to just run his line. When you get a race like this, you're just holding your normal play. You're just doing what you can. You're not over pushing. You're just keeping it calm. You see a guy coming up behind, it can hold you off. Super late into the braking for the final corner goes Jonathan. He had a good run here. Won't get it through JD Rodriguez, but look at this gap. I want to talk about this, right? There's JD Rodriguez. Jack David Spickett in 4th. Had a slowdown penalty. Van Hicks is up to 3rd, and then 9 seconds behind JD Rodriguez.
Yeah, so Joram Van Hicks is just quietly picking up the numbers here and going to 3rd. He's going to have to play defensive from this point onwards. So the pass is made, but JDS will look behind at Javier Del Olmo, and that's going to be important. Cazorla continuing to stay close, but Lim, really aggressive through the triple, has to be trying to get past Altan Hark, who harks away and sees, look, I'm going to be in trouble. Is he going to avoid contact? He does. But they had to make that move, and they had to make it quick. And Noel Lundberg now brings himself into play, and he'd want none of this, so he stays on the left-hand side of the circuit. Please go on, my friends, down the inside.
Yeah, just let me go. I'm pretty fine. You don't need to do anything with me. I'm on a straight. I'm fine. Lundberg is just there as a cameo because this is the battle going on, and this is the leader going on. He stretched that lead to 3 seconds. Ever since Ferenc Grau held that second place, the times that Jack's thrown in have been nothing but 13s. Meanwhile, Grau, everyone else doing 14s. Hiroda still trying to catch Valenteus. I say catch. He's already 2 seconds down.
Well, Jack Wells, I think, just hit an extra gear and is doing what is needed. Heroda can't really do too much about it right now, and keep an eye on Seamus Power in this race and what times he's doing out there with his laps, because this will be his first real lap out there on track, and he's just done a 13.5, which pretty much matches Jack Wells in terms of pace. So you stare down the barrel at it, I think, you know, he's there, and he's definitely going to be a threat to a number of drivers later on here, is Seamus.
Yeah, but you know who's not a threat? We're looking at him right now. This is Dustin Hiroda. He has a mechanical black flag. He caught the rear of Gavin Martinez on the final corner a couple laps ago and lost it. He has to serve this. That is a lot of damage. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got some suspension damage. Martinez went a bit too hot into the back of Valenteus, and he had to try and get around it, Hiroda. Hiroda lost it. That's why he's 2 seconds down, not pace or traffic. He caught a lot of damage, and you'll just see, you don't need a spirit level there, Jake. I can see on that camera, that is a very bent rear wing.
Yeah, and that rear wing is going to need to get fixed with a panel beater or something of that ilk, and he'll be there as long as it takes for required service. So he goes through. This is where he's trying to get into. So Valenteus into the back, and he just catches the Pac-Man car there. He didn't realise that, you know, when you get into a game of Pac-Man, the bigger yellow sphere just ran out at the wrong time.
Yeah, I don't think he was trying to get the cherries out there today, unfortunately. Benjamin Roberts has had a massive incident, and that's not one to see. How is he able to see out there? That must have been caused by another car just losing it in front of him, because you don't lose nose damage like that. In fact, here comes the replay. He's coming down to the start of the lap. He comes down. Oh, it's Seamus Power. Seamus Power trying to avoid a couple cars and had nowhere to go.
And there you see it. That's how big of an incident it was for Benjamin Roberts. He's been from pillar to post today, and everybody has basically gone, it's not your day, Benjamin, and it's not Seamus's either, because he's back in the pits, and that will do that. Mew cannot wait for that. He will now find his way through, and he's got himself Cal Young that he's trying to get by. He can't manage that yet. They now split the difference with Doug Cloud, but still, Cal Young, he's holding on quite well now in 4th place.
He's holding on quite well, and put another name to the whiteboard, crossing it out, because we have lost Brendan Lim out there as well. He has had a harder incident into the barrier, so Cal Young doesn't need to worry too much. He is absolutely now just having to realise behind him is Nicholas McCanos, but they've got such a gap to the rest of the field. Might be able to play this safe a little bit, but they have to be safe.
I think it caught Cazorla as well, because he's not very happy out there, so maybe Cazorla too might have been caught wrong place, wrong time. Jonathan Cazorla is still currently out there, so he's still okay, but for Lim, you know, he's not best pleased about how that's all sorts of gone about, so there's more to do in this race. Mickey Friesen, P12. We haven't really touched too much about the mid-pack here and what he's dealing with. He's got Krasherik in front of him, and in front of that is Emilio Dechari. Here's a look at Mickey Friesen trying to deal with his battle. Very much the nice circular steering wheel he's got his hands on right now. He's got a little bit of progress to go through. Have a little itch of the nose there. This is the only time you really got to think about it, so I don't blame him for resting his hand on this straight.
No, this is what he likes to do as well. He really likes to drive a lot with that hand on the gear stick. Well, of course you would do. It's a GTO. You've got to do a lot of upshifting and downshifting. But on a straight like that, just give yourself the stretching. We make the joke about how far away his gear stick is. His arm is bent there. It's not that far away. He's just holding and keeping it safe. But I do start to see that damage is starting to play. Do you see a little bit of a wobble on that bonnet there? That bonnet is starting to wobble a bit on Friesen's car.
It is. It is certainly starting to chatter a little bit on there as it goes. And that's Mucanos in trouble. Nicholas Mucanos from 5th, off the road and out.
And once again, how many times have we seen it today? It's the chicane. He loses it at the chicane. He has to serve a slowdown. But did he get caught out afterwards? I think he's actually blown his engine. Yes, he's blown his engine.
Oh, well, how often do you see that here in this machinery? So his GTP decides it wants to expire up in smoke, and there isn't much more that can be said about that. Mucanos then coming out of this section, looking for a way past the Martini 47, manages it, goes through the first part, goes through the second, and then, you know, it just goes pop.
It goes pop, but if you keep an eye on the bottom right there, you'll see the revs. He got into the high revs. He went to do the shift. He couldn't find the gear. He got stuck in the high shifting there. I don't know if that's a hardware failure. Could not get it shifted. Kept it in high gear. When you redline, Jake, what happens when you redline a car? You kind of overheat and it goes pop. And that's what happened out there.
And they're so easy to redline these cars. It's so easy for it to all go wrong. Now, Aldris Valenteus is starting to really improve. A 1:12.3 on that last lap from Aldris. He is a rocket ship at the moment, and I think he's just woken up into that sixth sense of, I can't afford to lose this race, and so I will now start finding the pace that I know I've got that no one else does.
Yeah, he is going to go into that hidden mode that only he had. He is an alien for a reason out there today, and thankfully he doesn't have a lot of cars to work with. Remember that number I was talking about earlier? Now we have 8 GTPs on the lead lap. It has turned into a battle of attrition, and these two guys are really now starting to show it. What is the fatigue like? These drivers don't usually go this distance now. We're 45 minutes into the race. It's a 40-minute race usually. Some of these drivers at the back probably haven't experienced 60-minute races in these machinery. These guys have. Valenteus is all too knowing about it.
Yeah, takes a wide line, trying to open up the chicane here, coming out of turn 7, 8, 9, McDonald's at 10, and now it's a case of quick, get on your bike and start chasing, because the Shell S 11 and 12 is a wonderful place to make a move. Thought about it, diving into the corner. They are catching Jack Wells out in front. They've got traffic to deal with, though, as they hit the exit. That is the most damaged Audi I've ever seen. Andreas Schuster, what's gone on there, bud?
Andreas, I'm pretty sure you aren't a NASA spaceship. I'm pretty sure you don't have to go and do some retro fire and go to different stages. Valenteus has found another stage. He takes the position so much so that Ferran decides, I'm not fighting it. We've still got 15 minutes. I'm going to wait. And here's a good time to wait. That's Noel Lundberg getting held up there as Valenteus, but nothing Ferran can do.
Well, this is what Ferran Graus may be looking at here. If I can have Aldris Valenteus help me pull up forward to Jack Wells, I've got a shot of victory. If I'm trying to do it on my own, I can only match him.
Yeah, I think that's actually pretty smart here, because he knows that Valenteus, he's got so much more confidence in the traffic that he can do it. Remember, Valenteus is leading the GTO Championship. He knows both cars. He knows what it's like around the multi-class aspect here. He can really have a go here. Martin Krajcik is another car. We haven't talked about this battle in the background. He's trying to hold up to Chari and Nicky Friesen, doing as much as he can in that, well, it feels like a Williams retro livery out there today with his own name. It's got world class on the front. He's trying to be as world class as he can as he defends against two.
Yeah, little blink there behind from Emilio Dechari, who's going through. Now, he won't be able to blink like that too often in the future, Craig, because of the brand new black and orange connection flag, which will be coming into iRacing.
I'm not looking forward to that, because I do have my own issues on different issues on that. So hopefully this blinking isn't going to be too much of an issue out there today, but it can throw drivers off. It's almost like a daytime flash of the headlights from a GTP or multi-class in the day, and hopefully it's not going to cause too much of an issue with this traffic going around.
Down to just 13 and a half minutes here at this wonderful motorsport arena, Oschersleben. This is a circuit that is built for great racing, and we're seeing it now. Marty Oye is there in 8th position, in class. He is looking at what he can do right now, because that is gone through on him on this lap. Christoph Olenek, who has moved on and gained a little more. So Olenizak has now moved up forward, and that brings him up overall to 19th position in his class. That puts him P7.
Yeah, 17 places gained for him, 18 for Ferenc Grau. So I think those two are having a little bit of a battle on who can gain the most places out there today. Very interesting to see. Jack Wells will come around for one more time. 12.5 minutes to go. Now the question is, now they have to take a pit stop, these GTPs. There's no way they can hold on all this time. The GTOs are going to no stop, but when do they come in? Because at 12 minutes, if you're in a modern LMP2, a modern prototype, you start to get on that tenterhooks of, I've got to pit. These old cars, well, we just don't know. It all depends on fuel.
Yeah, and who's been managing it? Who's been light on the brick that they've planted down of their right foot? So that's where you start looking around thinking, well, what can you do? And that gap starting to claw in. Look at this traffic here for Jack Wells. If I was Jack and I've struggled on this lap, I would take this as an opportunity to jump in the pits. Don't give any sniff for Audrius Valenteus, who's there behind, and look, he can see him now. He's 2 cars away. He's just got to weave through the traffic right now to get to where he wants to. Waits on the brakes as he moves through. He'll get 1 now. He's got to go around Krajcik here for 2, and he'll manage that. And now he looks at it, 1.6 seconds. They are close, but they are seeing that drivers left, right, and central are all starting to think about their pits. We've seen Cathola jump in and make a stop, but now Ferenc Grau's still there, 2 seconds.
Yeah, Ferenc Grau's still there as well. He's actually had not the best of run for the traffic, but again, he used Valenteus to his advantage. Valenteus cleared the seas parted, and he took advantage. And now the top 3, because Jack Wells getting held up from Doug Cloud on the exit of the hotel corner there. He is almost together. Top 3 are within 1.5 seconds of each other. There's the 3 of them going by. All of a sudden, it's squeaky bum time for Jack Wells.
Yeah, he knows that Audrius is there, and Ferenc Grau struggling a little bit around Doug Cloud now, drops a little bit of time and can't afford to do that too much. We'll now have to start hoping that they start scrapping. Marty Oye in front, Christoph Olenizak is there, and they've got to try and find those passes. Jack Wells, tick them off 1 at a time. He had to do this in the first 10 minutes. He's now got to do it again in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, and he doesn't have the time to work with because, again, as I mentioned, the pack has split open, so there's not that bunched up now. It is just a case of everyone just trying to find the right option. Ferenc Grau's been left out to dry here. There he is. He's really struggling to catch up, and he just can't get the exit speed. He dives into the corner to make the overtake, but he cannot get the exit speed to help him. He's now 1.5 seconds behind Valenteus.
Yeah, but Valenteus is all over the back of Jack Wells, and you better believe that Jack's going to try and have the widest Nissan here in all of Germany. He will look around left, he'll look around right, he'll look around up, down, slantways. He'll use the great glass elevator to elevate that place if he can manage it. And now Valenteus can sit and watch. Car on the outside then. That's Timothy Reed. So through goes 1. Valenteus doesn't get much love through the middle of the corner. So look at all that time. Goodbye to it. 1.5. Suddenly it becomes again.
Yeah, it goes again. A little bit of hesitation there for Valenteus and Timothy Reed. But you look ahead, keep your eyes on the relative. Well, there's lap GTPs up ahead. There's not lap GTOs. So this is going to be a battle of pace. And we know who has the pace usually. It's the man who's 8,949 iRacing points. It's that Valenteus. But he is 1.5 seconds behind with 9 minutes to go.
He does frequent above and below around that value of 9,000, and he does it the difficult way as well, Craig, because he's not one who's just trying to farm it in GT3s.
No, he says, I don't want to drive that modern fandangled machinery. This is what he loves. He loves doing it. You've seen him on the iRacing highlights, so you know what he is capable of. And in the historics, the Chari, we have known in the last couple of seasons what he is capable of. He's really started to make a name for himself, trying to get in that top 10 in the GTOs with Krajcik just ahead. There goes the car into the pit, the GTP. Interesting point I want to talk about, Jake. The drivers have been talking about this mid-race. No idea how they're able to do this in tech. Jack David Spickett is fuel saving. Noel Lundberg is fuel saving. JD Rodriguez is trying to fuel save. We know they're fuel saving in the GTOs. We don't know about the others.
No, we really don't, and this is going as far as you like. How long can you go? It's that sort of game that you sit with. Valenterius finding a big gap now over Grau, but all of the traffic, it's 3 seconds all of a sudden. It just wakes up to it. Dechari here in 11th in class finds himself in the middle here with Krasherik, who's just walked down the road, and behind the ever-chattering teeth of Mickey Friesen's bonnet brings itself in play. Joran van Hicks, what work he's done over the last 20 minutes or so. He's caught JD Rodriguez.
Yeah, fantastic driving here from a former champion. He is trying to get this. A P2 would be fantastic, make it +5 for the day, and that's what he's looking to do. What can he do, though? Because we don't know if he's fuel saving. We know JD's fuel saving, but just with the way he's been catching up, he was almost a second faster than Rodriguez last lap. Maybe, just maybe, he's just trying to do one last hurrah here.
Well, these hurrahs are going to be important here. It's about who's going to be able to stave off the challenges of those around. It's a case of how noisy are you going to be around here, or how much are you fettling every single section of this circuit around and finding more, just about letting through Danny Gomez. There goes Rodriguez, and Joran van Hicks will feel like he's in a better position to sit behind and wait. And you look around and you see Jack Wells there going through, the overall race leader. Soon Valenterius is going to want to try and jump on by as well and give what he can, but at least for the moment, now is where you're going to have to stay over. Von Hickser running there with the Valet helmet there. Valentino Rossi, 46. He's got a doctorate of racing, apparently, and he wants to use it to full effect.
He's trying the best he can as well, Jake. He is trying, but the traffic did not work for him, and he's lost time on Rodriguez, and more traffic's going to be coming beside him, and it's going to be, that is Carl there, Costa Sala behind. Farron Grau's going to be coming up shortly with Carl Young. He's then going to get past some GTO traffic as well. This is absolute carnage right now with 6 minutes to go, because he's trying to stay alive while also trying to get through, and gets caught in the back from Farron Grau with a miscommunication.
Oh. Joram into the gravel, trying to save anything he can, and that will cost him then a lot of time. It could even cost him the podium, and there it goes, straight on by Javier Del Olmo. Lundberg, by the way, has got a slowdown penalty, which should be easy for him to serve, but disaster for Joran van Hicks.
Yeah, it was just one of those things. You come out of hotel and the GTOs stay on that left. They have to get over to the right, and he waited for Farron to get round to the right. He didn't. He just decided, then I've got a chance to go to the right then. And then Farron goes with him. It was an absolute multi-class miscommunication from all parties involved, and that is so unfortunate. He's no longer looking to battle P2. He's looking to battle P3.
Well, Cal Young, you can see he's sat back now in 4th place. He wants the podium on Ferran Grau. Leading gap is 0.6 of a second. And with these drivers staying out, you feel if it's going to be a splash and dash, they don't need a fuel pump. They don't even need a can. They just need, I would say, a water bottle full of gasoline.
I don't think it's a water bottle. Just get me the plastic cup that you put the beer in. I think that's all they need right now. And that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to sip at this fuel right now. Absolute carnage if they can hold on to this. These top 4 in the GTPs have not pitted. In the GTOs, it's basically on the field.
Watch out, because that was very slow going through behind for Valenterius and co. Martin Enrique, they had to try and get by. Matteo Johnson, they just managed to get through. But Wells just about managing the traffic again. He has led each and every single lap of this race. He has not let anybody give themselves the chance to wrest this one away. And Jack Wells holding and holding and holding and holding. What will it take? What will it give to go and win a race against Valenterius, who looked pretty much all but out of it 20 minutes ago, and now finds himself primed at the apex looking for a move. Young looking for a podium.
Young's definitely looking for a podium. He almost had it on Farron Grau. He's trying to fight it. Grau's getting held up from 2 cars once again, and this could be the opportunity. Can Cal get here and time it perfectly? He has not. He's going to have to wait for the opportunity. This could be a free wide. I don't think the inside's the way you want to defend here, Farron. This is it. You've got to hold the outside. That's the fastest line for Hotel. Holds it. Slows down for more GTOs. In the picture, you see Javier Del Olmo. That battle with Cal Young in the picture-in-picture. Javier's lost that P3 once again, and Cal Young in the back of one GTO.
Yeah, and that's Martin Enrique again, who takes the tap and everyone's got to slide away around. Lundberg with the race lead and 13 seconds to the good. Cal Young holds his station, and now everybody keep an eye on that race lead, because here comes the look for Aldrius. He's as close as you like. He's trying to thread a needle, as millimetre precision as you like. Here comes the chance with 3 minutes left around the outside. No, yeah, it's just Jack Wells putting an elbow out, saying, little bit faster, mate, if you want to get this through.
Yeah, I don't think he had the confidence to do on the braking there. He's done it on GTOs, but this is the GTP. It's got the brakes, it's got the downforce, it's got the speed. Now he's going to have to try this all over again. 250 left in the race. That's going to be about 3 laps to go. He has to try and find this. Where's the traffic? Not a lot of traffic once they get through Hotel. He's just going to have to hope. I don't think it'll be this lap he attacked. Might have to be in the next lap.
Well, out of the way, Dechari has to go. Out of the way, Krasherik has to go as they now navigate through. Now it's their own traffic. Daniel Gomez, who's 6th overall at the moment, he now drops the lap as they now fly through. 1 and 2, 2 minutes, 20 seconds remaining in this race, and still Valenteus picks a wide line and struggles through the middle of the corner then as they try and navigate their way around the long turn 7. Wells gets reprieve.
Well, get to repeat. Meanwhile, David Ricciardi, I'll get my words out there. He's had to take a tow in the background, but these two are still battling traffic here this time through Shell. And this could be the chance of Valenteus to try and set himself up. He'll have to follow the traffic, and a late lunge there from Jack Wells on Doug Cloud. Could that be crucial for this penultimate lap?
That might be the move that gives him everything he needs to win this race, but they will now surely go to the end, whether they've got fuel or otherwise. Grau and Young now bringing themselves together, thinking, well, this podium is still not sorted because Ferran Grau went so aggressive so early. I think he's had to go back into the tank and save in the final stages. That's why he's dropped back to 12.6 seconds, because he's having to be so aggressive on his fuel numbers here. So wherever you look, up, down, left, right, this is going to be a case of how do you unlock these moves. And I think Aldrius is hoping he's got the Konami code. It might be there in front of him with the traffic. So aggressive from Jack Wells. He's just masterminding it there. Christoph Olenizak is going to be such a big pick at this stage.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Valenteus, usually good with the traffic, did not work for him. And there is going to be a slow car up ahead. Not sure where that car is. It's rolling once again. They don't need to worry about it. You've still got that battle for 4th and 3rd. Picture in picture. This is IMSA Vintage, Jake. This is as good as it gets.
Well, there's 2 Somerset boys in the commentary box, and the city of Wells leads this one in Jack Wells. Is it any more fraught and written in the stars with 1 lap to go, or is Aldrius Valenteus going to say what he can? There's a little scraping on the front for Ferran Grau with a lap to go as he hopes to hold 1 final spot on the podium here from Cal Young. But Jack Wells is masterminding each and every single corner and knows that the only way Valenteus gets through is if the traffic decides he doesn't want to play ball. There's Noel Lundberg, your overall leader in GTO, 13 seconds to the good. He'll have 1 more lap to go and get himself through. He's driven faultlessly here today and has driven away from everybody at the front of his field. But Wells now will round turn 7. He will say for 1 last time, I'm going to make my traditional order of a P1, please, out of the chicane and through McDonald's. And now looking over towards that Shell S for the final time, knowing that Aldrius Valenteus threw what he could at him and thought that if only he could hold for 2 laps, it could stick. But he's been the most aggressive with the traffic today. He will now look at 1 final corner, the Saxon Anhalt curve. Jack Wells, oh, what a race from you, my boy. What a win for you at Oschersleben.
Fantastic drive from Jack Wells. The king has been dethroned by Valenteus. And coming round the final corners, it's a slow final corner for Ferran Grau. But Cal Young had so much damage on the rear, nothing he can do. Plus 18 today for Ferran Grau as he gets that P3. What a drive from him. Never set a time.
Well, now comes the wait for Noel Lundberg, whose 14-second margin is one that he knows he doesn't have to panic about. Javier Del Olmo still hoping for a podium against Joran Van Hicks, but I think Van Hicks has got enough after the contact that he's still got a gap of about a second. No, Lundberg, you just have to tip a cap at a drive like this. There's a reason why we didn't go too much to GTO today. It's because this guy just dominated and did so in the absence of Valenteus in his category. No, Lundberg, that is as consummate as a race as you like.
Brilliant drive from Noel there today, and JD Rodriguez will take that P2 coming around. Hey, Noel Lumbo just set the fastest lap in a GTO just at the end of the race, just to assert his dominance today. Fantastic. He is still looking for that championship. Maybe he can. JD Rodriguez is going to be celebrating a P2. Johan Hicks will definitely be celebrating a P3 after the drama, and Javier Del Olmo, he goes up to P4 overall.
And he did so there to JD Rodriguez with an open door beside him, which I think is quite telling. He might need to secure that next time, make sure his driver's side door is there and secure properly. But great driving throughout both categories here at Oschersleben, and you put it through the hour, you put it through the ringer, and you get results like this. We'll go through and get the results of GTP here as they all sit and get themselves sorted. What a drive for Jack Wells, 2.3 over Aldrius Valenteus. I think it tells you all you need to know about the way that Jack drove. That was a masterful drive, and it might just put him on the next level when it comes to his racing here with the IMSA Vintage Series. Ferran Grau will find the final spot on the podium from 21st on the grid. Cal Young would be 4th ahead of the final finisher on the leading lap, Hamilton Barrera Ruiz. You then got Daniel Gomez, who's there in 6th position, ahead of Matthew Cockram, and Jonathan Cazorla losing out late. Matteo Johnson would be 2 laps down and having to take the hit and pit stop. Seamus Power would be the last car inside the top 10. 11 finished before your GTs out there, or your GTO. So Davide Riccardi would find himself in 11th, and then Ilka Cotasalo would be finding himself 6 laps down in 12th. Juan Carlos Pacheco Redondo would be down the order, would find himself down in 13th, with Rene Lechner having troubles today. All of these cars further down having troubles. Alex Carl there in trouble. Gabri Martinez we saw in the Pac-Man livery. Brendan Lim, and now we're hitting retirements. Andres Felipe Diaz, and then Nicolas Mucanos, Dustin Heroda. We saw the big hit there for him, but then Laus Olsen, Ethan Poole, Raul Rosses, he could have definitely challenged for the victory here today, and Henning Schwebig making up then the field of GTP. Craig, GTO.
Yeah, GTO kind of similar, just 5 cars remaining on the same lap as the leader, just like in the GTP. But Noel Lumbo, dominance today, 15 seconds ahead of JD Rodriguez, who came home in 2nd. And Johan Van Hicks will get that 3rd place after a battle with Javier Del Olmo, who had to finish in 4th. And then JDS will hold that 5th position. He goes down 1 position, but he's the last man on that lead lap because Christopher Lesniak makes up 18 places himself, like Ferran Grau, to come home in 6th. Timothy Reeve will take 7th. Then Doug Cloud 8th. Marty Olay will be 9th. And Mickey Friesen chattering around to that P10. And we still got drivers who are a lap down. Emilio Giachari and Martin Krajcik, 11th and 12th respectively. And then Forbin Pollock will take 13th. Max Wheeler, the last man, 1 lap down from Noah Lundberg in 14th. And then the drivers who had issues out there today. Andreas Schuster was 2 laps behind, 15th. Brandon White, 16th. Josh Brain was 17th. Atalan Hark was 18th. And then 4 laps down, Dmitry Melyov was 19th. With Benjamin Roberts, not the race he wanted today. He finishes 20th. Then the retirees with Fabian Jungluff in 21st, Martin Enrique Revert 22nd, Brooke Peterson was 23rd, Juan Jimenez 24th, Adam Barney was 25th, and Ove Trangarade finishes 26th.
Well, those are your drivers over the course of racing here. We will take the chance to talk to some of our finishers and where else to go, but our race winner overall, Jack Wells, joins us here today inside the commentary box. And Jack, for you, that must have been one of the most stressful races of the season for a full hour, just trying to find any way to break away from those cars in front. How difficult was it for you that you had quick drivers like Ferran and Aldrius always rubber banding the race back to you at the race lead?
Yeah, it was really difficult. There wasn't, I think after about 5 minutes into the race, I don't think there was a clear spot of track until the very last lap for me. So every time I thought that I might be able to pull a bit of a gap and make a bit of a bookmark, there was, there's some traffic or lapped Audi or Nissan, so really tough. Those guys gave me a really good race, yeah.
a very strong race out there. And talk us through getting through the traffic, because with about 2 laps to go, you had Adrius breathing down your neck, and it took you having to be super aggressive, where Adrius maybe was a little bit more tentative, a little bit more cautious, to go give you that opportunity to build that final margin.
Yeah, at the end of the race, I knew that Adrius probably had a little bit of a margin of fuel, but luckily I kept that in mind the whole race, so I was keeping a lap spare basically in the pocket, so that if I never needed to completely stop lifting and coasting, I could, and that was what I did on the last 5 laps or so. And yeah, in the traffic, I was just trying to be a bit more punchy. Obviously, it's risky when you're in such a position as the race lead.
What does this race win mean to you, knowing that it's the final round of the season next week over at the NASCAR long variant of Sonoma?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really happy to have got a win this season. I've been close on a few occasions. I'm looking forward to Sonoma. It's one of my favourite tracks for our series to go to, so yeah, hopefully something similar next week. Well,
we wish you the best of the luck, Jack. It's a fantastic victory for you here today at this wonderful Oschersleben circuit.
Thanks, guys.
Well, there you have it. Jack Wells joining us and picking up a big victory. Craig, I believe you've just wandered down the paddock and you found yourself a little bit of a chat with Christophe Lenijak.
Yeah, got Christophe here today. Finished 6th, but the key number, 18. From the back of the field, up 18 positions today, Christophe. That looked like it was a bit of fun out there, but looked very stressful. Do we have Christophe? We do, yeah, sorry. Nope, I think my microphone's having a bit of an issue out there today, Jake. We've unfortunately just have to give it a small moment, but 18 places for him today, Jake. We saw that with Ferran as well. Fantastic driving by both drivers. In a GTO, nevertheless, it's so hard to get through the bigger field. We've got Christophe back again. Christophe, I was saying, it is so tough out there in that type of bigger field. It must have been a stressful race.
Hello?
Hello, we've got you.
Christophe, we can hear you, buddy.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you, Christophe.
Sorry, I cannot hear you for some reason at the moment. I don't know why.
Well, if Christophe can hear us, unfortunately, I don't think he's able to. I'm having some issues out here today with our headsets here, Jake. It's the nature of live TV.
Yeah, it very much is out there, but you know, we've been sat watching a wonderful display of racing action out there. A fantastic spit of flame from a lot of these cars and that old school feel. And I believe you've got Christophe back, Craig.
We'll try for one more time, Christophe. Hello, congratulations. 18 places up there today. That looked like a lot of fun.
It was fun, but also very difficult. After absolutely bottling both qualifying laps, and seeing that I could have probably got around P6, P7, P8, and seeing over 20 cars ahead of me, it was basically hoping I can save fuel, and because I save enough fuel, I can maybe push late in the race and have some pace advantage over everyone else. But yeah, it wasn't an easy job.
It didn't look an easy job out there for sure, especially with the fuel saving. We know the 60-minute races are basically no no pit stops for these GTOs, so you're having to constantly work with that as well as the traffic. Was there any issues though with the multi-class? Because GTPs out there today were just going left, right, and center around everybody.
There were a few GTPs that were sending it into very weak spots, I would say. Mainly the triple left-hander around the outside, which meant they had much more faith in my front tires than I had the whole race. Fortunately, it all worked out, and yeah, 18 places up is decent, I would say.
Yeah, it's very decent on a field like this, and that means now with one race left to go, it's Sonoma next week. I know what you're like around Sonoma in a Ford GT2. What are you expecting around there in an Audi GTO?
Before this race, I actually decided to not drive Sonoma. Over this season, while I did make some progress from the week 1 at Mugello, I realized that I've hit a wall quite soon, and especially this week, I felt like I started going backwards instead. So I decided to skip next week, make this Oschersleben be my last dance in the Audi, at least for the foreseeable future. I might be back at some point, haven't decided yet, but next time, if I will be in IMSA Vintage, I will be in the Nissan.
Well, if it's a way to go out, it's a way to go out with a bang. 18 places up the field to 6th. You cannot be upset with that, Christoph. Congratulations on a fantastic drive today, and we look forward to seeing you in the future. Jake, that was Christoph Lesniak. 6th place today, 18 places, just like Ferran Grau.
Yeah, he had a fantastic drive up the field, and that is something we definitely note. But the curtain now comes to a close here from the Motorsport Arena Oschersleben. But our racing coverage this weekend at the Global SimRacing Channel does not, because you can catch all of our amazing shows available to you with us here on YouTube. So if you haven't had a chance to already, do all the YouTube things. Do the like, the share, the subscribe, ring the bell, and make sure that you're notified on all of the amazing content that you've got coming over to us. But the final round of the championship is just 1 week away. Sonoma Long is where we're going to be jumping in with that. And I tell you what, I can't wait to see such amazing racing at one of the cool circuits like Sonoma. It's a fantastic old school feel. You've got, of course, Classic Lotus, which is coming into play. We'll be heading to Le Mans Historic tomorrow. That's your next show, which is coming up 4:30 UTC, 11:30 Eastern. You want to jump in with us. And then, of course, you got the likes of the Grand Prix Legends and PT Autosport, which will be coming in over on a super Saturday of sim racing action. So make sure you check that out. From the entire team that's come together to bring this show from you, from the likes of Daniel Costello, Dougie Beard, and Craig King, my name is Jake Sperry. You simply cannot put a value on a driver who can dice and slice through any amount of traffic possible. That goes down in the pantheon of great sim racing drives, and it will be so underrated from Jack Wells from what he's achieved. He held off a hard charging Ferran Grau. He was able to outwit Aldrius Valenteius, and Jack Wells, well, give yourself a big smile. It's a victory of the ages. Noel Lundberg, with a consummate performance as well, was able to put that victory into good use. But 1 round remains, and we'll see you in 7 days when we take you to Sonoma.